Hi, everyone, and welcome to Part 2 of Unit 3 in English for Careers Nursing. Let's jump in and continue the lesson right away. All right, before we dive into the listening segment, let's take a moment to check out a fascinating section that often stands out at the top of certain pages in your book. This segment isn't just filler. It's additional training designed to pique your curiosity and sharpen your skills. Now here's the intriguing bit. This page highlights some surprising research findings. Did you know that hospital admissions tend to spike during a full moon? And that's not all. There's also a noticeable rise in admissions in the 2 days following a World Cup defeat. It's a reminder of how unexpected factors can influence our lives. Keep that in mind as we explore more together. Now, let's turn our attention to the next activity. Listen closely as a nurse gathers personal details from a patient. Your task? Complete the form while you listen. Stay sharp and see if you can capture all the necessary information accurately. Let's get started. On Unit 3, Listening 2.
Unit 3. Listening. A patient record form.
Mustafa, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
So, what happened to you?
I was working on a ladder. It was raining and I slipped and fell.
Did you hit your head?
Yes, I saw stars and felt sick at first, but now it's okay.
I see. You may have concussion. First, I'll take down your details and fill in this form. So, what's your surname?
It's Hussein.
Can you spell that for me?
H-U-S-S-E-I-N.
What's your occupation?
I'm a painter.
Right. What's your date of birth?
1st of the 9th, 82.
1982. And where were you born?
Karachi, Pakistan.
What's your marital status?
Sorry?
Are you married?
No, I am single.
And do you have a contact telephone number for your next of kin?
07709 401 229. It's my brother, Yusuf.
Do you smoke?
Yes.
How many do you smoke a day?
20 a day?
Uh-huh. Do you drink?
No.
Right. Are you allergic to anything?
No.
Now, family history. Do any of your close family suffer from any of the following? Mental illness?
No.
Diabetes?
My mother's parents are both diabetic.
Maternal grandparents? Diabetes? Tuberculosis?
No.
HIV/AIDS?
No.
Now, what's the difference between maternal and paternal grandparents? Maternal grandparents. They are your mother's parents. You might explain that the word maternal comes from mater, which means mother in Latin. For example, grandma and grandpa on your mother's side are your maternal grandparents. These grandparents may be referred to as nani and nana in some cultures. Paternal grandparents. These are your father's parents. The word paternal is derived from pater, which means father in Latin. For example, grandma and grandpa on your father's side are your paternal grandparents. In some cultural contexts, they might be called dadi and dada. Up next, we'll revisit the story of a gentleman who was a painter and had quite an unfortunate fall from a ladder. This time, listen carefully as he recounts his experience. Your job is to focus on the details and complete the questions the nurse asks him. Let's dive back in and see what you can catch. Unit 3, Listening 2.
Unit 3. Listening. A patient record form.
Mustafa, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
So, what happened to you?
I was working on a ladder. It was raining and I slipped and fell.
Did you hit your head?
Yes, I saw stars and felt sick at first, but now it's okay.
I see. You may have concussion. First, I'll take down your details and fill in this form. So, what's your surname?
It's Hussein.
Can you spell that for me?
Hussein.
What's your occupation?
I'm a painter.
Right. What's your date of birth?
1st of the 9th, 82.
1982. And where were you born?
Karachi, Pakistan.
What's your marital status?
Sorry?
Are you married?
No, I am single.
And do you have a contact telephone number for your next of kin?
07709 401 229. It's my brother, Yusuf.
Do you smoke?
Yes.
How many do you smoke a day?
20 a day?
Uh-huh. Do you drink?
No.
Right. Are you allergic to anything?
No.
Now, family history. Do any of your close family suffer from any of the following? Mental illness?
No.
Diabetes?
My mother's parents are both diabetic.
Maternal grandparents? Diabetes? Tuberculosis?
No.
HIV/AIDS?
No.
Here's a breakdown of the words slip, skid, and slid. You aired and there along with their connection to concussion. Slip. This refers to losing traction or footing momentarily. For example, you might slip on wet tiles. A slip could lead to falling, potentially causing a head injury and resulting in a concussion. Skid. This term often describes losing control while moving, especially on a surface like ice or mud. For instance, a car might skid during heavy rain. While usually applied to vehicles, it can also describe a person or object gliding uncontrollably. Skids might lead to abrupt impacts, increasing concussion risk. Slid, the past tense of slide, conveys movement along a surface, often with control, but sometimes without. For example, he slid on the icy pavement. While sliding can be intentional, an uncontrolled slide may lead to falls or collisions, potentially resulting in a concussion. All three words describe situations where loss of balance, traction, or control can occur. These situations might lead to falls or impacts, which could result in a concussion, a type of traumatic brain injury caused by a blow to the head or a sudden jolt. All right, everyone, it's time to put those vocabulary words we've learned into action. Let's make it fun and practical with a role-playing challenge. Here's the scenario. One of you plays the patient admitted to the hospital, and the other takes on the role of the nurse. As the patient, you'll need to be creative and come up with details like your name, allergies, occupation, medical history, and more. Meanwhile, the nurse will ask all the right questions to fill out the patient record. Once you've finished, switch roles and go again. This is a fantastic way to master those important terms, sharpen your listening skills, and get comfortable with medical vocabulary and context. So let's pause the video, jump in, and see how you do. Okay, let's continue the lesson. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments section. The language spot. Your dedicated space for sharpening grammar skills. In this session, we're diving deep into the world of tenses. Past simple versus past continuous. These tenses might seem simple at first glance, but mastering their use adds incredible depth to your storytelling and communication. Here's how they work. Past simple is used to describe actions that were completed and occurred in the past. It's like marking a specific point in time. For instance, I felt terrible when I got home last night. Or, I slipped on ice and hurt my knee. You'll notice some verbs in the past simple follow regular rules ending in ed, like asked and arrived. But beware of irregular verbs which change form entirely, like go becoming went, or take transforming into took. To reinforce this, grab the listening script in your book. For scrub up, on page 125 and start hunting for examples of past simple. Write down the base form of each verb you find. This simple practice builds your understanding of how verbs shift between tenses. Past continuous, on the other hand, paints the backdrop of a story. It's used for actions that were ongoing at a specific moment, often interrupted by another event. For example, I was riding my bike when a cat ran in front of me, or she cut her finger while she was preparing food. This tense is perfect for setting the scene and showing what was happening in the background when a past event occurred. Your challenge here is to underline examples of the past continuous in the same listening script on page 125. Can you spot where this tense creates the scene and connects the story's elements? To take your practice even further, head over to the grammar reference section on page 117 of your book. This resource is packed with examples and exercises to solidify your understanding of these tenses. For an added challenge, try crafting your own sentences that combine both tenses. Imagine a dramatic moment from your day, what was happening in the background, and what event interrupted it. For example, I was reading a fascinating article when the doorbell rang. This exercise not only reinforces grammar concepts, but also encourages you to get creative with your storytelling. So let's roll up our sleeves, dive into these exercises, and make grammar your superpower. Remember, every sentence you form brings you closer to fluency. There are some examples of past simple. 1. I slipped on ice and hurt my knee. Explanation. Both slipped and hurt are in the past simple tense, showing completed actions. These actions occurred in a specific sequence in the past. First, the speaker slipped and then hurt their knee. 2. I felt terrible when I got home last night. Explanation. The verbs felt and got are in the past simple, describing actions that happened and were completed at a specific time, last night. 3. I checked it on the internet. Explanation. Checked is in the past simple, indicating a finished action. The speaker searched online at a particular moment in the past. Let's check some examples of past continuous. 1. I was reading a fascinating article when the doorbell rang. Explanation. Was reading is in the past continuous tense, showing an ongoing action in the past. This action reading was interrupted by the past simple action rang, the doorbell. 2. I was walking by the river and I think I stepped on it. Explanation. Was walking is in the past continuous, describing a background action that was happening over a period. This sets the scene for the action stepped, which occurred as a single event in the past simple. 3. I was looking in the mirror and I saw this big spot on my face. Explanation. Was looking is in the past continuous, showing a continuous action examining the mirror, and saw is in the past simple, marking the event that happened while the speaker was looking. Key insights. Past simple emphasizes completed actions that occurred at specific points in the past. Past continuous highlights ongoing actions in the past, often setting the scene or showing an action in progress when it was interrupted by another event. How to form the past simple. Positive. Subject plus past simple form of the verb. For example, I slipped. Negative past simple. Subject plus did not or didn't plus infinitive form of verb. For example, I didn't break. Past simple in questions. Did plus subject plus infinitive. For example, did I fall? Past simple in short answers. It's like this. Yes, the subject did, or no, subject didn't. For example, yes, I did. These are the past continuous forms. Using both tenses together. When you combine the past simple and past continuous, you create richer, more detailed sentences. These tenses often appear together to show an action in progress, past continuous, that is interrupted by a complete action, past simple. Practice exercise. Imagine this situation. I was cooking dinner when the smoke alarm went off. Past continuous form. I was cooking dinner shows what was happening. Past simple form. The smoke alarm went off highlights the interruption. Now let's do a creative exercise. Try writing a story using both tenses. Think of an activity you were doing and describe an event that interrupted it. For example, I was texting my friend when my phone battery died. Spelling rules for the past simple. The past simple form of regular verbs is typically created by adding ed to the base form, but certain spelling rules apply based on the structure of the verb. Let's go through each rule with the examples from the table. 1. For most verbs, we should add ed to the infinitive form of the verb. For example, wait becomes waited. The base form wait follows the standard rule of simply adding ed to form the past simple. The action of waiting happened in the past and is now completed. 2. For verbs ending in e, we should add only d to the infinitive form. For example, arrive becomes arrived. The verb arrive already ends in e, so only d is added to avoid duplication. This creates a smooth and correct past simple form. 3. For verbs ending in consonant plus b. In this verbs, we should change the y to I and then add ed. For example, try becomes tried. The ending y in try is preceded by a consonant r, so it changes to I before adding ed to form tried. This indicates the action of trying occurred in the past. 4. For verbs ending in vowel plus consonant. In this verbs, double the final consonant and add ed. For example, stop becomes stopped. The verb stop ends in a stressed syllable with a vowel o followed by a consonant p. To maintain the correct pronunciation, the final consonant is doubled, forming stopped. This emphasizes that the action of stopping is completed. 5. Exceptions for final consonants, w, x, or y. In this verbs, do not double the final consonant. For example, delay becomes delayed. While delay ends in a vowel plus consonant, the final consonant y is exempt from doubling. Instead, simply add ed to form delayed. This shows a past action. Irregular verbs in the past simple. Not all verbs follow regular rules. Some have unique past simple forms that must be memorized. Here are the examples provided in the image. I explain them one by one. The verb be changes completely to was or were in the past simple, depending on the subject. For example, I was at the hospital yesterday. The verb break undergoes a vowel shift to form broke in the past simple. For example, he broke his arm last week. The verb have completely changes to had in the past simple. For example, she had a meeting last Monday. The verb fall changes its vowel sound to fell in the past simple. For example, he fell off the ladder. The verb go becomes went in the past simple, with no clear connection to the base form. For example, they went to the World Cup last year. The verb take shifts its vowel sound to took in the past simple. For example, she took the bus to work this morning. The past simple is used to describe actions that happened and were completed in the past. It is often accompanied by time expressions like yesterday, last week, in plus month, season, or year. For example, in April or in 2025. Example sentence. The doctor examined my leg yesterday. The verb examined is in the past simple, indicating a completed action that occurred specifically yesterday. The structure of the past continuous is consistent in positive, negative, and question forms. 1. Positive sentences. Structure is subject plus was or were plus verb with ing, which is present participle. Example from the image. You, we, or they were waiting for the doctor. This sentence shows an action, waiting, that was happening in the past, with were as the auxiliary verb for you, we, and they. The addition of ing to the base verb wait indicates an ongoing action. 2. Negative sentences. Structure is subject plus was or were plus not plus a verb with ing. Example from the image. He was not working here then. Here, the auxiliary verb was or were is followed by not to negate the statement. This indicates that the action working was not happening at that time in the past. 3. Questions in past continuous. Structure is was or were plus subject plus a verb with ing. Example from the image. Were you listening to him? This structure flips the auxiliary verb were to the beginning of the sentence to form a question, asking whether an ongoing action, listening, was happening at a particular moment. Using the past continuous with the past simple. The past continuous is frequently paired with the past simple to provide context for two events in the past. The past continuous sets the scene by describing the background action. The past simple describes an interrupting action or event. Examples from the image. 1. He was getting off the bus when he slipped. Was getting off is in the past continuous, showing the ongoing background action of disembarking the bus. Slipped is in the past simple, describing a sudden completed action that interrupted the background event. 2. He slipped when he was getting off the bus. This sentence reverses the order of the clauses, but the meanings remain the same. The past simple, slipped, still interrupts the past continuous action, was getting off. 3. When he was getting off the bus, he slipped. This variation moves the subordinate clause with when to the beginning, but the sequence of events stays the same. It highlights the ongoing nature of was getting off and the sudden nature of slipped. Now let's talk about key uses of the past continuous. 1. Background actions. The past continuous describes actions that were happening over a period of time in the past, often creating a backdrop for another event. Example, I was reading a book when the phone rang. Here was reading sets the scene, while rang interrupts the ongoing action. 2. Two simultaneous actions. When two actions are happening at the same time, both can be in the past continuous. Example, she was cooking dinner while he was watching TV. Both was cooking and was watching describe ongoing actions occurring simultaneously. 3. Descriptive context. The past continuous can be used to describe the atmosphere or what was happening around a specific past moment. Example, it was raining heavily and people were rushing for shelter. The ongoing nature of was raining and were rushing creates a vivid picture of the situation. All right, you can practice exercise and try forming your own sentences using the past continuous. Here's a scenario to get started. Imagine you were walking in the park yesterday evening. Write a sentence combining a past continuous action and a past simple event. Example, I was walking in the park when I saw a beautiful sunset. Let's analyze and break down the sentences by identifying the past simple and past continuous tenses in each example. I'll explain each tense thoroughly and show how they work together in context. 1. When he was working, he broke his arm. Past simple broke. The verb broke describes a completed action in the past, the arm breaking. This event interrupted the ongoing action of working. Past continuous was working. Was working shows the background action that was happening over a period of time. The tense sets the scene and provides context for the sudden event. 2. My son was holding a firework when it exploded and burned his hand. Past simple, exploded and burned. Exploded and burned describe specific events that happened and were completed in the past. They give clarity on what caused the injury to his hand. Past continuous was holding. Was holding describes an ongoing action in progress, holding the firework, that was interrupted by the explosion. 3. I got out of the car. My dad closed the door and broke my fingers. Past simple. Got out, broke, and closed. These are all completed actions. These verbs describe the sequence of events clearly in the past. There is no past continuous in this sentence. 4. My mum was getting dressed in the bathroom. She fell and hit her head. Past simple. Fell and hit are completed actions that describe what happened in the sequence. Falling first, then hitting her head. Past continuous was getting dressed. Was getting dressed describes the ongoing action that provided the background for the sudden event of falling and hitting her head. 5. I was listening to music when suddenly I heard a whistling in my ear and I went deaf. Past simple. Heard and went describe actions that were completed in the past, a whistling sound and the sudden loss of hearing. Past continuous. Was listening shows the ongoing action that was interrupted by the sudden whistling sound and subsequent event. 6. I was running in the park, and a man chased me and punched me. Past simple. Chased and punched are completed actions describing what the man did in the sequence of events. Past continuous. Was running sets the scene by describing the subject's ongoing action in the park before being chased and punched. Now, let's check how the past simple and past continuous work together. The past simple is used for actions that are completed in the past. It gives a clear sequence or describes sudden events. The past continuous provides the context by showing what was happening in the background or describing actions that were in progress when something else occurred. By combining these tenses, sentences become richer and more detailed, helping the listener or reader visualize the events in the past. All right, that's all for part 2 of this lesson. We'll continue the lesson in part 3. If you have any questions or thoughts, drop them in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.